yourself no more. It's like you're getting ran, you're getting controlled. Like you got that demon on your back.
Looks like we got us another hit. Yep.
Um, this let me play this clip because you this I think this goes with what you
And
were
we're at risk
saying.
of losing it. But why do you think this is an important fight? Look, it's important for so many reasons, but the first of them, even from my own experiences at some of those elite institutions, Tucker, is that affirmative action simply does not work to even help the very people it's supposed to help. Because if it did help those people, then you wouldn't need to apply it to the same groups to get into boarding school, who then need to be the exact same groups who benefit from it and getting into college, who then need to benefit from the exact same thing getting into graduate school, who are then the exact same groups who benefit from it in the professional workforce. If it was working, you wouldn't need it at every step of the cascade. And here's the thing, Tucker. Nobody makes a case for affirmative action in the NBA. Nobody makes a case for affirmative action in the NFL because they know why that would ruin basketball and it would ruin football. None of us would want to watch it. Why do we think it's any different when it comes to science or engineering? And I will tell you from my experience in the classroom or otherwise, I think that that's exactly what's happening in our culture is we have an assault on meritocracy and an assault on excellence. And I think that's an assault on the American soul. We need to put the merit back in America. It's probably why most legal immigrants actually legally come to this country. It's why my parents came here. And we're at risk of losing it unless we end affirmative action, which I think the Supreme Court has an opportunity to do right now. But
This dude. Okay, so the caption it says some immigrants will align with white supremacy in order to get ahead, and here's an example. It says now they're coming for affirmative action.
I've actually heard some interesting, I guess arguments on affirmative action and how it may not be as good for different groups and this, that, and the other. Which I don't know. Like that's one thing that I guess I'm not gonna say I know enough about it to say that it works or doesn't work or whatever. But I guess based on the conversation, yeah, I mean, people say, bro, I'm gonna tell you, some people will vote against themselves just to try to fit in.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So, like, and this guy, that's what they love to bring out people like this because whenever it's like has racist undertones in it, they love to get someone else to say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
And
and
say it
I mean,
passionately.
cause what's her name? What's the one that was wearing the t-shirt with Kanye?
Candace Owens.
Yeah, now they use her quite a bit for that. I think I even heard her with a conversation about that and how some of these because I think her example was for some black students going to Harvard because of affirmative action. They said, but if they would have went to USC, they would have ended up with better grades because of you know they wouldn't have had to shoot for the high levels of Harvard. You know what I'm saying? If they was better place, it was something I don't know.
Yeah,
And like I
sounds
said,
like bullshit. Sounds like a
well,
bullshit argument.
I mean, it sounded like a decent argument because if that's the real case, if what she said was a real thing, then like, okay, why not be more of an A student at USC and instead of being a C or a D student at Harvard? Like you could do better at a school that's more in your
It
range, which I get it.
it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work like that.
No.
Um,
Well,
it,
like I said, maybe I don't know enough about that, but like based on different things I've heard, if that's like I said, I mean that would make sense to me. You know,
yeah. Well, whatever the prereqs are, the prerequisites is to get into the school. If you're able to do that, then that proves that you can deal with whatever you have to do at that school. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a good argument. It's like the maybe if you're saying that the people are going to give them a hard time, like the instructors and the other students are going to badger them, and that's what's going to make their grades go down because pe- your grades depend on you, right? How there's no I mean, you could go to whatever school and get A's or C's or D's depending on your performance. That's what it's about. It's not like I don't know what they're trying to say with that. Like Harvard, yes, it's supposed to be like an elite college or whatever, but that's the whatever the prerequisites are. If you meet that, then you in there, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And everybody on this level playing field, as far as they all got to learn the material, they all got to
And I
do the
mean,
fucking assignments.
it's gonna be objective to really, I mean, to really decide. I mean, every student is not gonna be treated the same at each school, and all, you know what I'm saying. Even if there is some, racism or whatever, like I mean, some people can still deal with the racism, make good grades at the Harvard, even though somebody's. So I mean, I honestly like. I really, to some extent, really feel like I mean it's bullshit. Whatever school you want to go to, I mean, just go there. Like, I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to be like, okay, look, you're special, and what we're gonna do
And I do
eh,
get that. I totally get that particular part of the argument because it seems like some damn charity or something. But it doesn't
yeah,
like you want to be with them. Like I want to be with y'all. I want to go to the school with y'all. Yeah, I get that argument right there. But
yeah.
there was a reason why they came out with affirmative action. You know what I'm saying? Because they felt like there was a discrepancies going on. There were like
Well, but
disparities,
I mean, but we got to think about it too. That I mean, there's
lack of
people that
opportunity for certain communities.
there's some people who feel like they were shut out of those type of opportunities because like they said, I had top grades, I had this, I had that, but I mean, if you when it's SAT time or different, certain tests, I mean, like the people who made it might have actually just did better than them, whether regardless if they was white, Asian, or
But
whatever.
no, these schools have historically history of being like all white, and they also got freaking connections to slavery. So, there's a reason why it's like, you know, there's a reason why it's all white, bro. Like it's not by accident.
Well, I mean, majority, because I mean, if you think about it, most people, a lot like these days, the reason why most people go to these schools, just like if you look at, like, I know, like in my family, like there's a quite a few that's go to Southern or Grambling, and that's because grandma and grandpa and everybody else down the line
Right,
had been
because
there
they
and they're
couldn't
going to
go
the
to
school.
those schools because of segregation. They had the
They
HBCUs.
never wanted to go to those other schools. It wasn't that. It was because, like, look, I'm going to college, I'm going to school, I'm doing this and that and the other. Harvard
But
was the last thing on their mind. Like, they
but
didn't
if it
give a
was a
damn about.
tradition, I understand that if it was a tradition that the family has been doing for generations, that segregation that wasn't that long ago. So they couldn't go to those colleges. They were excluded from going to those colleges. It wouldn't have been an option. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't have. So if it's like they're passing down a tradition, they're definitely passing down a HBCU or whatever because that's the schools that they could go to.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but if that's but my point was just that, like, a lot of the kids that's going to Harvard probably might could give a damn less about Harvard them damn self. It's because mama and grandma want you to go to where they went, or what I'm
And that's
saying, like.
true. And that's true. And that's true. And another reason why Harvard has so much money is because of their alumni gives so much money back to the
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
So, and that's a tradition that they do that's passed down. So, yeah, so it's to perpetuate it. So, it's smart. You can't knock nobody for doing that at all. and it really kind of makes sense. But you know, it's just that the reason why affirmative action came out is because they saw that there was a disparity, going on that was historical and left over from like segregation and shit. And they wanted to find ways to try to make that more fair, more level. And that's where affirmative action comes in. And the thing is, they've been screaming about affirmative action forever. And this is what I've been saying. What they don't understand is that the Republicans are getting everything that they want, and they have been for a minute now. Like it's steadily happening. Bing, 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 bing. Affirmative action is about to go out the window because the Supreme Court is about to see this case, and there's a very good chance that because it's a 6-3 majority, that the conservatives are going to kick affirmative action out, and it'll be no more. They winning. They winning with their agenda on this stuff. That's what they were talking about, the judges and the courts, because that's what they're doing. They're sending everything through the courts.
So that's a Republican thing, because I know Democrats that's very into this hard. I mean, because you saying for the whole affirmative action thing. So
right. The Republicans are the one that's been screaming on.
So Republicans are against affirmative action.
Right. They say it's
Yeah. Just woke up.
mad interesting to me. I was about to go to sleep and this just woke me up.